Yeah, you can just lean over if you want to get in. Okay, so ready to start up. This is a Finance Committee meeting, August 19th, 2020, 3 o'clock. So we had two topics that we're covering today. One is potentially charging for overnight parking stickers, and the second one is, Bill's going to give us an update on this, the second agenda item that's in our committee about creating an incentive for more off-street parking in the village. So the first topic I'd sent you guys, Chief had given me an update, and so I provided all that. Oh, and also, yeah, Joe, I don't know if I mentioned you, Rick's here as well. So Bill, Kelly, Rick, and I are all here.
There he is.
And so I sent the information that Rick had shared with us previously. Right now, we hand out anywhere from 70 to 90 stickers a year. We currently do not charge. They cost us roughly $150 a year, and we get them every year because every year they have to go through the review process. And they're not cheap stickers. They're more expensive because they got the reflective stuff. So at nighttime, you can see them easier and things like that. So it's got the reflective color on them. The only way they can get them is by going through the review process with the police and getting a hardship exemption. And I forwarded to you guys as well the code book that lays out, that's section 2 there, about the process for getting that exemption. And then Chief was sharing that the process right now for people who violate it, if somebody parks in the street overnight without a sticker the first time, they get a warning. If it happens again within 2 to 3 weeks, they get a ticket. If it gets to be a month or more since the first violation, and they're out on overnight on the street again, they go back to getting a warning, and the police sort of start it over again. So they give them the benefit of the doubt on that and say, okay, you may have forgotten about this. And again, another warning, and the clock starts again. So that is our current process. One of the things that Chief Hines is suggested to us multiple times here was potentially charging for some of these, for the overnight stickers, just the overnight stickers. So that was one of our things we wanted to check. Joe or Kelly, do you have any comments or thoughts?
Do it.
Kelly says do it.
Quick question. So what is the general purpose for these stickers? I mean, is it to try? I've always heard in the past that it's a good tool for the police to know which cars are residents cars that are there overnight versus non-residents cars, and the sticker kind of helps them identify that. And then second of all, are we trying to use the stickers as a deterrent from utilizing the street for parking? Is that kind of what the idea is here?
Yeah. So I don't know, Rick, do you want to come around here, or I don't know if you, because she's. Hey, how about this, Kelly? I'll go on mute.
Let me see what happens if I unmute.
Okay, go.
Okay, she's up. Okay. What was the question, Joe?
So what's the purpose of these stickers? I mean, is one to deter residents from parking on the street overnight? And or does it help the police know who's a resident and who isn't as far as cars that are left on the streets overnight?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Why don't you go back up? You go back here.
Yeah, we're gonna,
Okay.
I know. Dude.
Do I need to come over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, Chief. So, well, Joe, first thing is, right now the law is you're not supposed to park overnight on the street. So that was in the code section that I sent to you guys. So it says here, no person shall park on any highway or street between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. However, the following streets are permitted to do that. And there's these streets that has exemptions. But so again, base starting point is you're not allowed to park in the street overnight between 1 and 6 a.m.
And I'm trying to understand the logic of that. I mean, what is it to try to keep the cars off the streets?
My understanding, Joe, is, I mean, that ordinance was in effect when I came here 33 years ago.
Okay.
And my understanding, it was in effect years before that. Part of it is to let the night shift guys know who's on the street, obviously. And if it is a resident, then they have the sticker if they qualify. And if there's a car without a sticker on the street, then it kind of raises the red flag to the officers that, hey, I need to check that car, see who it belongs to. see if it's somebody maybe casing an area to get into other cars, get into houses, garages, or whatever. And then they start looking, really hard at that general area to see if that may be the case. And then obviously, part of it is to, parking's at a premium here, and if everybody puts their cars on the street, we're going to have parking issues even more than what we have now. So to get the parking sticker, you have to qualify for it. So if you have, say you have 3 cars and you have a garage and a driveway that you can get 1 car in, then that says that you have the access to park 2 of your 3 cars off the street, 1 in the garage, 1 on your driveway. So then you would qualify for 1 sticker for 1 of those 3 cars, whichever one you choose to get the sticker for. Now there are some exceptions, like down on Settle. Some of those garages down there are so narrow that if somebody has a larger SUV, they can't get the car in the garage. If they do get it in the garage, they can't get out. The doors, it's just too narrow. So that's an exception. And then we have, I know a couple of exceptions that we've granted. One is a doctor that is on call as an emergency room. So he needs to have his car on the street, even though he does have ample room to take it off the street. But if his wife parks behind him, he gets called in the middle of the night, then he's got to jockey cars, and that's not a good thing. So there are exceptions, but it has to be something of that nature before they get an exception. Now, a lot of people use their garages to as storage areas, and that's obviously their choice to do that. However, the position that the village takes on that is, yeah, that's your choice, but you do have a garage, and that counts for room for 1 car. If you have a 2-car garage, it counts for room for 2 cars. So that's pretty much the criteria. Now, what I suggested was that we charge a fee for those stickers, because what we've seen in the past, I get a lot of complaints from residents that, why does so-and-so have 2 stickers? Because they don't actually qualify. Then we go look, and for whatever reason, they found a way to get 2 stickers and should only have 1. And so I think that if they have to pay for those stickers, that will take care of some of those shenanigans that are pulled to try to get stickers so they don't have to jockey cars. If you have to pay for them, you're not gonna be as out to ask for a sticker if you don't absolutely need it.
Okay, no, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
What's the overall goal here? And I think the overall goal is to try to keep cars off the street. I mean, if they've got the capacity to park in the
That's correct.
driveway, they should be parking in the driveway or be parking in the garage. So as we start talking the potential of putting fees on these stickers, the amount that we put on these, is there a deterrent at some level from people coming and asking for stickers? And I guess what I'm hearing is, yeah, at a certain level, they're probably not going to try to, pick up a extra sticker or even a sticker in the first place if they know they have to pay for it.
That's correct. Now if you're charging, $10 for the sticker, that's not going to make a difference to them. So it's going to have to be enough that they're going to have to say, hey, it's really not worth us to pay for that sticker that we actually don't need. We'll just jockey the cars,
Right.
So, yeah.
All right. So my other question is, do we know of any other communities that are doing this, that are paying for stickers to park on the street? And at what level do they charge?
I don't know that, Joe. I don't. I'm not aware of another community that has a 1 to 6 a.m. parking ordinance like we do. But again, most communities don't have the parking issues that we have either. Unless it's okay. The mayor said Columbus, and what village? German Village has something similar, and I guess they have parking issues there too, right, Mayor? Yeah. So, I think our area obviously is a lot like Mount Lookout and Mount Adams and places like that where parking's at a premium. And, you know, when these areas were established, a lot of people didn't even have one car, let alone 5 or 4, you know, or whatever. So,
Right now the kids
and I-
are all home from school,
right,
they all
and-
have a car.
right. And I think when we, you know, when this was put in place, you know, like you said, it, you know, when the village was established, incorporated or whatever, most people probably didn't have a car, but like I said, if they did, it probably wasn't more than one. So
Yeah.
now that's definitely different. And
I guess
people
that
use
the
the
troubling thing I have is what is a reasonable charge? You know, I mean, it sounds like, you know, you got the
Well,
whole
that's where
spectrum
you
of
got-
numbers you could throw out. And I'm not sure what a reasonable charge would be for these things. If you go too low, it just becomes, you know, is it even worth our, you know, if we just did $10, you're only talking about $750 coming in.
Well,
Is it
and $10 is not going to be a deterrent to keep people from trying to get more stickers than what they absolutely need either.
Right.
So, you know, but that's for you guys to decide. I mean, I've kind of made some suggestions. I know the mayor has I think everybody here kind of has an idea of what they think it should be. So, but that's up to you guys.
Well, that's good because I have no idea what to charge. So,
All right.
so I'm looking for some guidance.
So I, you know, for me, at a minimum, I'd start at 50. I know Bill said 100. So I don't know. And again, this is something we can always come back and revisit. We're starting this for the first time. We can check and see.
Well, I think it needs to be reasonable, obviously, but still a deterrent.
Yep.
I would lean towards the higher amount,
Towards 100?
100.
What do you think? I mean, you said 50,
I said minimum. I said minimum 50.
Okay, I mean, you want to compromise it at 75, see how that floats? You know, we can always change.
We're gonna have more pushback if we try to make it higher than if we lower it.
Yeah.
Are you off mute?
No, she's on mute.
I'm on mute.
I'm here.
Yeah, no, but can you hear Kelly and Bill?
Hello, Joe.
Hello?
Okay, well, they're gonna move a little closer to because we had her on and there was echo and we couldn't.
Oh,
When you were
go,
talking.
go, go, go.
Well, go ahead, Kelly, why don't you say again what you're saying? You're saying that if we're gonna have more pushback, if.
Oh,
it's
so
too high
we're
or
talking
higher.
about, you know, if we go with 75 and then we want to make it higher,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
people are gonna be like, what the hell? Why are you making it higher?
Versus if you start higher.
Versus
you can
start
always-
high and then, you know, just start high. I mean, what's gonna happen? People say no, then they don't park on the street. Mission accomplished.
I mean, let me ask you this, does $100, and Joe, can you hear me? Does $100 sound unreasonable? I don't think it does.
No, it definitely would be more of a deterrent. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely. So,
I mean,
And if somebody needs it, then they get it, but
Yeah.
still not, it's not free because people, and we've seen it, that gets so taken advantage of. I mean, half the cars out there, I walked down Homewood a few weeks ago, there was 5 cars on there that still had 2019 stickers.
Yeah.
I mean, where's the onus? You know, if they have to make an effort to get it, they're gonna get it or not get it. But right now, I mean, people are not even bothering to get the 2020 stickers. They're like, oh, what the heck? Nobody cares.
yeah, so let me say 2 things. Actually, I like your idea about it. I agree with you. It's easier to start higher and come down versus starting lower and going up. So I agree with that. And maybe starting 100 would be good. The other thing I think is going to be important with this, Chief, is going to be the consistent application of this. You know, we need to make sure that we're holding, you know, following your process you've got today where you say, hey, we're going to get a warning, but if you don't follow it, you know, and you're doing out there again 2 to 3 weeks later, or within the same month or whatever,
That's mine.
then it becomes a ticket, you know, so that enforcement thing's consistently, and I know you're working, I know you and I talked about that. You said, hey, it's getting consistent. So that'll be the important thing too, because, you know, we all heard in the past.
Throughout
Some
the whole
people,
village.
yes, everywhere in the village.
Yes, yes,
Because there's some people who believe that they are
targeted.
treated differently than others. And so
That's
it needs
right.
to be really clear that everyone's being treated the same way with all this kind of stuff.
Agreed on that, yep.
And when we do, like you said, when we start charging for the stickers and, you know, then, like I said, like you said, I think it's for sure, you know, we've got to be consistent throughout the whole village on the enforcement part of it,
Yep.
for sure.
Period.
So sounds like a couple people saying 100 might be a good place to start. Joe, you okay with that?
Well, I just trying to do a quick Google search here for other cities. The only thing I found was Temple City, California, where I don't even know it is. they're charging $83 for an overnight
How
parking
did they come
sticker.
up with $83?
So, why they came up with 83, I don't know, but
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense. Whatever, land of fruits and nuts.
Another $17.
Well, and that might have been, you don't know when they imposed that and they haven't
Then,
readjusted.
does
up.
it give any kind of date, Joe, for issuance of that? I don't know where to
You
talk.
talk this
wait a
way.
minute, here's East Orange,
Jersey.
New Jersey.
Oh,
They're at $150 for an annual overnight parking
That's
permit.
Jersey.
Joey
Well,
did.
New Jersey's got some pretty countryside
They
areas
do.
too, so you don't know which part.
And what they actually do is they drop it for each, for a second vehicle to $100,
We don't want to encourage that.
and then 75 for each
Yeah.
subsequent vehicle. Why, why they do that, I don't know. I mean, but
No,
that encourages more
yeah.
people to park. But they're at 150, so I guess, what I'm saying is $100 doesn't seem unreasonable. From the standpoint, it looks like there's other communities that are doing it. And, I mean, we do in certain streets have real parking issues at night.
Sure do.
Can I ask a question in regards to this schedule with a list of streets?
Yep.
This list of streets here are the exception to parking between 1 and 6 a.m. So these streets
And they don't
here,
require a sticker,
that's, okay, that's what I wanted.
They will not.
right? The
Okay,
streets that are already listed in here do not require a sticker.
Right.
that's
And
what
as I
I
said,
thought, and I wanted to
Because
clarify.
they don't have an opportunity to park off the street.
Yeah, they don't have driveways or garages.
That's correct.
My only thought about that was, as I sent my email, it looks to me like this was last updated in 1984. That was the last thing. that
Oh,
was
wait.
added.
On that street,
Well, on that street, but to the list itself.
Well, wait, the first one
And
was
it was
1942.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
my
then
other question was,
90
is that a good comprehensive
I
list?
think that was put on there in 84.
That's public
Right.
works.
That was added to the list in
Yeah,
84.
that's what I'm saying.
Right, right.
There's been nothing added.
It's a good
since.
list, though. I mean, those streets, there's none of those streets that I would recommend taking off.
Okay, well, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all
Well,
I'm
but,
asking.
and to your point, Bill, I'm not disagreeing, and I would think that would be part of what Public Works has in their list, their,
Look to see if it's.
yeah, because Kelly has in her committee already reviewing the parking situation throughout the
Right.
village, so I would think that would be part of that, would be checking to say, hey, is it still the right list or not? So,
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not a big thing. Just.
So if we want to add, or, I mean, I don't see,
I don't see.
I don't
taking
want to
anything
have this
off the list.
conversation too long because it is
it's not,
venturing
it's
into
not, it's not in this
public
committee.
works, so I'm not gonna even say it.
Yeah, it's just, Public Works will deal with it,
Yes.
so.
All right, so if we do put this charge on, how's it work? When the person comes and gets the pass from the police that they're gonna pay at that point? We pick up a
Yeah,
check?
yeah, and it starts at the beginning of every year. January 1st every year is when they're supposed to come. That's when they're issued.
Chief, do they physically have to come in the office to get those?
What we can do is, they can come into the office, or we can set up a system on the website that they can go on, fill out their renewal form. We can get it to Sergeant Pitsley, who handles that. He can then review their situation to see if they still qualify for the sticker. And if they do, then they would need to, come in and pick it up and pay their fee.
So we would physically have an officer, and this is Nick's thing,
Sergeant
right?
Pitsley handles
Would
that,
go
yes. As far as
To
the,
examine, so
That's
somebody
correct.
submits an application.
Mhm.
He physically goes to view the premises and the situation and says, okay,
Mhm.
here's your
Or-
sticker, give me $100, or I'm sorry, you don't qualify.
Right,
And
right.
by the way, if he says no, there is an appeal process.
That's
that
correct.
you can
To
go
the
through.
safety committee.
Yes, so it's not like he doesn't have the final word on it. If you feel you've been unjustly something.
Yep.
You know,
I know how one safety committee person's gonna be.
I doubt there's very few. of those.
Yeah,
No soup for you.
But as a follow-up, as I said in my email back to you, did you get? What? You didn't get my email? I answered your email.
Wait.
Did you get that back?
you, not on this. You had one on the other stuff. That
No,
was,
on this.
so I didn't see that.
What was it?
I'm telling you, Eli is gonna have to, this gets ridiculous. Half my emails.
Yeah, he sends me emails all the time and I don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't get one.
Well, check your
You sent me a
spam.
list of questions regarding some of this parking stuff.
Well, there was this, that was a separate thing about for rules of law. And I saw that response.
All I'm suggesting is that when we implement this, we need some kind of a flyer, a
Ah.
paper document and I'll get it out through the town crier, I'll get it in my bulletin.
Mhm.
On the
We
website.
can't spring this, we
Right.
have to bring the residents informationally up to speed on this.
Right, right.
That's all
I got that
saying.
one. I got that one.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the Rules and Law Committee. So, because again, we've got this topic is actually in 3 different
Yeah.
committees.
Yes,
So this committee is just dealing with, do we want to charge a fee or not?
Yeah.
You've asked Rules and Law, can we work on the wording of this?
right.
And then
Logistics.
Public Works is looking at parking
I
throughout the whole
understand.
village.
Yeah, I
And we have to
understand.
educate the
understand.
So I did get
like
that
you
one. I
said.
got that email,
Okay,
yes.
all right, okay.
Hi,
Well, I mean,
Joe.
you agree with me? We have to have that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, this wording could be definitely touched up. I just wanted to touch base with
I got you.
So,
Sorry.
okay,
You
so
okay with
three,
that?
And-
Right?
And Bill, to that information, or about educating the residents, number one, this is going to go to council for 3 readings. So it's
Right.
going to be out there a lot for people to realize that there's a proposed change to the parking permits. And
Good
so
point.
there's going to be plenty of opportunity. And then, Chief, when typically do they apply? First of the year?
I think, well, they would need to apply for the new sticker maybe a month prior to the year ending. And then, but yeah, I mean, if they wait till, right at the first of the year, then they could be getting warnings because their 2020 stickers are no longer good. It's kind of like a license plate sticker type thing. And then, somebody didn't come in by January 1st, the officers would put a warning on their car and tell them that they need to come in and file for renewal.
Okay,
And,
so if I think through the timeline here, if we were to pass this out of committee today, we would get it to the full council at the next meeting. And then if it gets past the full council, then we would have 3 readings of the ordinance before it becomes effective.
Mhm.
And that kind of takes us into the end of October?
Yeah.
And then the letter would go out December 1st. So I think there's plenty of opportunities here to educate,
Yeah, timing's
the-
good.
to educate the general public about what our thoughts are here and gather their comments to the change before it actually gets implemented. It gives us enough time to implement it if it does get passed, through that process.
Sure.
so yeah, we're good. The one thing, just to build on what you said, Joe, and it doesn't change things, but just remember, it's 3 readings, and then after the 3rd reading, it's 30 days before it can actually be implemented.
Okay.
So but that's plenty of time still. That's not an issue. I'm just wondering.
I'm more worried about letting the people know what we're doing because, I think there will be some pushback on this. And anytime
We have a
you
meeting.
raise fees or raise taxes, there's a general pushback, and we just have to educate everybody about what's going on and to gather the feedback and see what the general public believes.
Now, one other thing, Chief, too, I know we've talked about this as well. So the code also allows for temporary permits to be granted, like if somebody's kids are in town
Correct.
for the weekend or
Correct.
something, or whatever, for a week. They're home for Christmas break. Let's say kids are home for Christmas break.
Mhm.
They can come to you and get a temporary, whatever
They
exemption.
can do that, or they can just simply call into the PD during
Mhm.
normal business hours, usually, prior to 5 o'clock, and say, hey, I've got, family coming in over the weekend. They'll be here from Friday till Monday. And all we ask for is give us a description of their vehicle and possibly a license plate number if you know it. But if they don't know it and they say, okay, it's a blue Honda and
they know
it's
the
got
license
temporary tags or Tennessee
Like
tags on it,
sister.
then that's sufficient. But if they've got the license number, that's good too. And we put that on a board that we have that the officers check on a daily basis for overnight parking temporary permits. And we just write that information on that board, and the officers know that vehicle's okay and that they have permission for those 3 days, a week, or whatever it is.
Right.
So we
just-
would notice, I'm sorry. So they come in and say, hey, I'm going to be here from Monday to Friday.
Mhm.
And so they are given a temporary,
They're not gonna
per-
pass.
permission.
Yeah, they don't get a
For
sticker or
those
anything to
5
put on.
days.
Right. There's no sticker
How do we
to put on the
know
vehicle.
when day 5 is up?
It's on the form that downstairs from this date to
Okay,
this
so
date.
on day 6, we go check on it?
Yeah, and if it's still there on day 6, then we would contact, but normally, I mean, people know when they're gonna leave and we don't have an issue with that, so.
Yeah, except the code says 90 days.
Up to.
Up to 90 days. I'm thinking 90 days, no, wait.
That's a
3
long
months, that's
time.
too, yeah, that's way too much.
I mean,
yeah.
30 days should be like the outer limits on that deal.
Yeah, if you're visiting for more than 30 days, you basically.
Well,
moved
and we
in.
can extend that. I
You
mean,
moved in.
if a kid's home for the summer from college
Buy a
or
sticker.
something,
Well, then buy a sticker.
yeah, right. And that's the thing. I think after that, you get a
Okay, well,
sticker
so
for
that could be
the-
something that rules and law can look at, is maybe
Okay.
changing that to,
30 days.
Yeah. so I made a note of that here. So, but I do want to make sure people are aware of that too, that this is not like, again, kids are home for the holidays, you don't have to go buy a sticker.
No,
It's,
no.
you allow that exemption, that it already exists within the code. book.
Yeah, we
Right.
don't want them to have to get a sticker for somebody that's just gonna
For
be
5
here for
days.
even a
Yeah,
couple
that's-
weeks.
Yeah, even a couple weeks Christmas break or something like that, you know? Okay, good.
Somebody want to call for a vote then?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and vote on whether we'll propose to council to adopt having a $100 fee for the overnight sticker
Per vehicle.
per vehicle.
Per vehicle.
Per sticker.
Effective January 1st, 2021.
Yeah, January 1st, 2021.
Second,
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. So I will write up a report. I'll send it to you guys for your comments and try to get that back so I can get it to Joni for Friday's packet. And I'll reach out to Ed too about, I guess, if this needs to be an ordinance change or not. I don't know if this needs to be in an ordinance.
The 90 days to 30 days.
No. The
Oh,
charging
right,
$100.
right.
That does.
Probably does.
So I'll check with him. I'll send him an email and let you guys know, but I'll write up the report and get that going also. Okay, second thing was
Yay.
about the creating more off-street parking in the village. And Bill's been doing some work, and I thought it would be helpful to get I haven't actually seen some of the stuff he's got in his hands right now.
Hey,
so-
Rob, can you put yourself back on camera again? There you go. You're doing all the talking and Chief Hines is sitting there. so.
Because he looks better than
Hey,
me.
he's tired of looking at my mug.
He looks better than I do, so I put him on the camera.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I don't know about that.
So, Bill, maybe you and I want to switch spots or something like that, so you can
Well, I
talk
think-
through this, but you can't
Yeah.
talk.
Can you hear me okay, Joe?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so Bill's got some stuff to share with us about things he's been looking at over there,
Yeah, about the off-street parking. I mean, just a little bit of a background. Rob and I sort of got together, I don't know, probably 6 weeks ago or something. We met with Chad Osgood, who has some apartments on Chestnut. And behind those units, he has put in some parking pads and done an extremely good job with it. He landscaped around it, the whole thing, in an effort to create parking for his tenants so that they're not in that parking mess out there in front of Chestnut. So Rob and I got to talking about this, thinking, geez, this is, he's done such a good job with this. We could extend this all the way down the lane way to some of the other units, contact some of those landlords. And our original idea was to come up with some type of a strategy, whereby we would incentivize or motivate those folks, to do this, whether it would be some type of a three-way split between the village, the landlord, and possibly MPF, or another suggestion that we actually had is that since we're raising some money on parking fees, possibly some of that money could be made available to the landlords to create these parking pads. So like I said, we met with Chad and we were talking with him about how much it costs to put the thing in, the difficulties of it, being put in. And, actually, these are actually a very simple construction. They really don't involve, much work. Although I checked with John Schifferberg to see if a couple of our maintenance guys would have been interested in moonlighting the job, not on village time, with village money. This would be a separate job they would want to undertake. They unfortunately don't want to do that, or they don't have the time to do that. Well, I mean, it's kind of cheap, but in any case, Sherp went ahead and we have priced out some of the materials that would be involved, and essentially it's just the cinder or concrete block that would be involved. That are stood. I don't know whether Joe, do you know what I'm talking about? You've seen those pads over there.
Mhm. Are you talking about the honeycomb ones?
Yeah, the honeycomb ones. Yeah, that you basically fill with dirt and you can plant grass, and it creates actually a very green kind of a space, but yet it's very supportive of the weight of a vehicle.
Right.
So I've essentially, like I said, I sort of priced out the block of the thing. The blocks would, at retail, would run about $1,700, but John was telling me that because we're a municipality, we may be able to buy the blocks at a bit of a discount. The excavation work and the crusher run that you would put down as the base would probably run possibly, estimating that to be about another $1,000. So we're looking at something about maybe $2,500 to $3,000 tops
Per pad.
per pad. Although if you get a contractor and you're going to do multiple pads, I'm sure we can probably get that price down. And the idea would be, I think there was another, help me out here, Rob, there's another 4 to 5 units that were kind of the next units down.
Beyond those, 'cause we talked about just the next 2 owners, right? The next 2 building
Next 2
owners.
owners, but that might involve about 4
Yeah,
pads.
I think it was 4 to 6, yes.
4 to 6 pads, something like that. So I think that, personally, I think it's a very good idea because it creates, a low impact green kind of a parking place. And it also solves the problems, some of those backyards over there, you've got those hideous chain link fences which are in various stages of disrepair. And we've already passed an ordinance saying, past a certain point, you can't replace those things. So it'd be a way to get that out. It'd be a way to get the backyards cleaned up. It'd be a way to, a lot of people just bring those garbage cans down to the end of their yard and they fall into the lane, and this solves a lot of kind of issues over there in that lane. So in any event, I think the only stumbling block to this potentially is, can the village contribute money to this? Is there a way the village can contribute money?
I think that's a huge question.
No, again, this goes back to the grants. This, when this topic originally came up,
Right.
there are 2 communities right across the river in Kentucky, Dayton and Bellevue, who do this now. They have a grant program, and actually they pay for 100%.
They do.
The
Okay.
100% of the cost for this. Again, what we've talked about in this committee is, we're not talking about paying 100%. The most we talked about was 50, and what Bill just talked about was like a third.
Okay.
So, and again, as Bill talked, there's an opportunity here, because the one thing that Frost Brown Todd has told us is grant money cannot come from taxes. So no
Tax
property taxes or earning taxes, things like that. However, fees
This is fee money
Okay.
that we're
or
talking
things like
about.
that can be used. So it creates a good circular opportunity here to say, gee, if we have money coming in from stickers, it creates money that then can be used. It's not a tax, it's a fee for the stickers to be able to use to go ahead and create more off-street parking, which helps to address some of the parking issues over there.
So we're talking about maybe 30% of the cost,
A
or
third,
33.333?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would,
and to be clear, there's nothing definitive we're saying here right now. This is an update. There's no
Right.
ask at this
Right.
point right now.
Right.
So this is an update, just checking the water to see, what do you guys think about this before we go further down the path
Right.
of, starting to talk to some of those other property owners.
well, that and get a contractor lined up and that kind of a thing. But yeah, I think the big hurdle here would be basically approaching the property owners and sort of convincing them that this is good for everybody to participate in something like this. And really, all they have to do is walk down there and take one look at Chad's. Of course, now he spent extra money in landscaping and that wonderful fencing that he's put around. I guess you start with the pad and you hope that they fill in later with landscaping and fencing.
Yeah, but we're drawing the line for
Yeah,
village
The
participation.
village participation is simply on the pad itself.
So again, this is just a check step. And the way the Bill and I talked about this was, if we approach these other property owners, it would be a test market type of thing. We're not making a commitment to go roll this out. So it's like, gee, this year, do we want to try and test this, see if it works? If it does, next year we start up the fees, and then we can start up then we can have a more official ongoing program to create that. But this is just sort of the first, let's dip our toe in the water and see if it might work or not.
Exactly.
Do you guys see any issues or problems with that? Excuse me.
You've been tested?
Yeah, I did. I got tested Friday and it came back negative on Monday, so
I
I'm
know,
good.
yeah, I already asked him to make him,
I had a cold.
listen to him.
Well, it's cold.
Yeah, but you gotta be
Nowadays,
safe.
like, you sneeze
Well,
and you're like a
well,
leper.
I also had aches and,
Jiminy Christmas,
so-
you're gonna take down the whole country, Bill.
anyway, no, let's go,
Yeah.
we're going off the tangent here.
You got thoughts on this, Joe?
I'm not adverse to the concept of, the village, kind of, priming the pump here on this process. We know we have a problem with parking over in the historic district, especially on street parking. And so this is a fairly, inexpensive way for the village to help kickstart, a solution to that problem. And so, I'm okay with the concept at this point. I know there's some that argue that, the government shouldn't be solving the parking woes of the landlords, but, they're partnering with us in this process is the way the structure is being defined.
Yeah, it's a private-public partnership is what
Right.
it is. So,
And it seems like that's done a lot. I mean, that's a lot better than us just spending the money on our own. I mean,
yeah.
because they're going to get, there's no doubt they get some benefit of it, but the village gets more because we just don't have enough parking over there.
Well, not
Yep.
only, but Joe, as I said, it's not, I mean, parking, but it's a way to, I don't know when's the last time you went down that lane over there and looked at some of those backyards. I mean, with the fencing, the weeds, it's this, we can really help clean up what is,
Okay.
I don't want to use the term blighted area.
well, then don't say it.
Yeah.
Just, it'll make it a much nicer looking, attractive, area. So,
Okay, so we're not voting today. We're just kind of getting temperature. That's kind of what I'm
right.
hearing.
All we're saying is it okay for Bill to start to go down the next step of talking to some of the property owners? He's getting cost estimates now to be able to have more specific, tangible numbers to talk about. So, but
But
no
no
commitment at this point.
Well,
It's
and
just,
no matter what the count, and I know we don't have an agreed upon percentage, but we have to be real careful not to imply that we're getting 100% of this.
oh, no,
Oh,
yeah,
no. We're
Because
not-
landlords hear what they want to hear.
right.
Well, yeah, I'll make that perfectly clear. And I guess the only other step obviously is I haven't really made any type of a pitch to MPF, regarding this. Now, there's been sort of informal discussions. They're aware of it, or a few of them are aware of it. And that's met, I think, with, reasonably good response.
Well, they have a vested interest.
Well, they do. It's right outside their door. I mean,
Well, and it helps to, again, it's improving that part, the historic part of the village.
exactly.
Right.
So,
And that's their thing.
okay, so it sounds like we're all in agreement that, Bill, go ahead and continue down this path. No commitment on anything yet. It's just, we're continuing to explore and check and see interest levels and things like that and getting actual dollar amounts that we can talk about and things.
Good with
And
that.
and again, the concept is, even now, this is just dip the toe in the water, see if this might work or not. There's no ongoing commitment at this stage either. So I'm assuming that, Bill will come back to us if there seems to be interest, and then we can decide whether we want to go forward with any kind of funding for that, again, seed money or whatever we want to call it, to try to test this process. So everyone's good with that?
I'm good with that. Joe, you good? You got a thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Okay,
Thumbs up.
good. Well, I do not have any other those are the only two topics we had on the agenda, so we're done.
We still got an hour and 20
No,
minutes.
we're done. So, all right, thanks,
All right,
Joe.
see y'all later. Bye.
See you guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Joe.